I'm Katie Hammer. I'm the Budget Director for the City of Boston. And I've been honored to work with Mayor Walsh to build this budget this year. Also the budget team as well, who's standing over there. As we bring forward budget decisions, I am in awe of how Mayor Walsh considers the impact of those budget decisions on all of Boston's neighborhoods. He examines the data that we find from City Score. He remembers what he heard in the neighborhoods and what he saw when he was out visiting. And he's guided by plans like Imagine Boston 2030. And with careful consideration, the mayor makes budget decisions that are more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. These will have great impacts on people's lives. 15,000 more kids will have a longer school day, an intervention that has been proven to close opportunity and achievement gaps. Chinatown will have library services again. Our police force will be more diverse because of the mayor's commitments to the cadet program. And parks across the city, from Harambe to Jamaica Pond, Paul Revere Mall to Smith Playground, will be more beautiful and accessible. These are just some of the large and small decisions that the mayor made in this budget process. I also know that the mayor cares quite deeply about making sure that the Boston remains financially strong. Most mayors can't boast a AAA bond rating, but Mayor Walsh can. And so, as he signs this $3.15 billion budget, the city can rest assured that we have balanced these investments with fiscal responsibility. Our neighborhoods and the city's balance sheet will thrive due to his decisions. I want to thank our budget team for their hard work during the depths of budget season. I want to thank Dave Sweeney for his guidance, and I want to thank Mayor Walsh for his leadership. I'm really proud of everything we've accomplished. So here's Mayor Walsh.
Thanks, Katie. Let me just start by thanking the budget team as well. These young people put in long hours, go through pages and pages and pages of requests, but also pages and pages and pages of budget. And the reason why we have such a strong fiscal footing in the city of Boston is because of these people over here, led by Dave Sweeney and also Katie Hammer and everyone else. I want to thank all of you again for the great work you do, the budget team. I also want to thank the City Council. We started this process months ago, and we have hearings, and the City Council's hearings all over the city of Boston to give people the opportunity to be able to express their concerns and voice what they want to see in the budget, what's important for them, what the priorities are. And I want to thank them all. I want to thank start with Mark Siomo, the Ways and Means Chair, for his great guidership and leadership here. And this is his fourth budget working together with us. And it's really testament to, I think, the hard work that he does and the committee does. So thank you, Mark. I want to thank Councilman O'Malley, who's also been doing this the longest on the City Council, I think, of anyone. You were elected before Mark, so a little bit, right? Same time?
A little bit after.
Oh, really? Okay. I was going to call him the senior person. So he's...
I'm the oldest counselor and the longest consecutive serving counselor.
So Mark is claiming dean of the council right now, so we're going to make it the dean. No one else is here, so. But I want to thank Matt. I want to thank Matt O'Malley as well, who has his fingerprints all over this budget, and also investments made in different parts of the city of Boston in our open space, and continued investments that he pushed last year in our open space as well. So I want to thank Matt for his great work. I want to thank Anissa Sabi George, whose fingerprints are definitely, her stamp is on this budget, dealing with our schools and dealing with homelessness in our schools, and something that she's very passionate about, making sure that we continue to bring services to our kids in our cities, particularly those kids that don't have advocates at home or don't have strong advocates at home. So I want to thank you, Councillor Anissa Sabi George, as well, for your great work. So thank you for that. I want to thank all of the folks that are here. We have many different cabinet heads and department heads here, so thank you for being here today as well. We are at this building that's in need of graffiti removal, and there's a reason why we're here. Since our first budget proposal in April, our data system, City Score, has shown an increased demand for graffiti cleanup in the city of Boston. We have around 21 cases a day this past month, double what we saw last year in the city. So we added 2 members of our graffiti buster team for quicker responses and times and cleanlier neighborhoods. In the past year, we had over 6,000 cases of graffiti opened in the city. 4,200 of those were resolved. So one of the reasons why we put on the extra people is to make sure that we can get 100% of those cases resolved. And we're going to see more and more folks out there doing this type of work. We're also here to highlight the quality of life issues. Basic city services requires more than just basic practices. We need to listen to constituents, we need to measure performances, and we need to innovate and invest in the areas of basic city services. That's what this budget does in the quality of life issues and long-term investments in every single neighborhood. This budget increased our public school budget by $40 million. That goes up by 4%. And we're seeing tremendous gain in the last 3 years. We're here with Superintendent Tommy Chang, and we've seen tremendous gain in the city of Boston the last 3.5 years in our schools, where we can boast that we have more level 1 and level 2 schools than any other period of the history of our city. And we have 600 kids going from level 3, 4, and 5 this coming September into a level 1 and level 2 school. So we are moving to make sure that we make gains in our schools. We also have the highest level of high school graduates in the history of our city. And we did the $1 billion Build BPS plan. So we're working to make sure that we make those investments in our schools, both in the physical building, but also the capital inside those buildings and the brain power inside those buildings. So I want to thank the school department. A historic investment in Imagine Boston 2030. Build BPS, $1 billion into bringing our schools up to code. We also add new funding for housing for homelessness, police cadets, fire safety, and we saw a fire yesterday in Boston, 2 days ago in Boston, that on Dorchester Avenue, and our fire department, and we heard Commissioner Finn and Richie Parrish talk about having the best fire department trained in the country and the techniques that they have now. So I want to again thank the fire department for their great work, and we're making more investments in our fire safety. In recovery services, the issue of heroin and opioid addiction in our city is not going away, although we're seeing that people are saying that we have a downturn and we might have turned the corner because we're seeing deaths go down. But we still have issues that we want to make sure through our Office of Recovery Services to make sure that we continue the opportunity for everyone who wants to get into treatment can get into treatment. Just as important, we won sound fiscal management AAA bond rating for 4 consecutive years. First time in the history of our city. First time in the history of our city we did 2 years in a row, and now we've done 4. It highlights some of the items in the review process that have unlocked. This budget adds 5 new building inspectors to our team of 20 to work with Commissioner Christopher to make sure that we get our building inspectors out there because of the construction we're seeing, but also some of the complaints we're seeing. We have the inspectors are going to be doing home inspection, new home inspection in businesses. Some of them are here with us today. I want to thank Darryl Boyd, Cheryl Odom, and Michael Haley for joining us and for the great work that you guys do and ladies do in our city, because you don't get enough credit for the work you do, so thank you for that. We've doubled the capacity of our mobile shops team that we created in 2015. This is an area that I would love to say that we could reduce on, but we can't reduce on it. We have an epidemic going on in our streets, so people are going to be out, our shops going to be out there in our parks, in our fields, picking up needles. If you see a needle out there, do not touch it. Call 311, and we will get somebody, a member of our shops team out there. We have with us today Shantia Williams, who's here with us today, who's part of that team. I want to thank Shantia for her great work as well. We're going to be funding 4 more mental health professionals to respond to emergencies with the Boston Police Department. I want to thank in particular Councilor Asabi George and Councilor Presley for this, because they were talking about the importance of making sure we get more people out there. That will triple the number of clinicians that we have to make a team permanent of public safety operations. It's going to keep people out of the criminal justice system and get them into the treatment and services they need. So as the state thinks about and debates whether or not to decriminalize and do some criminal justice reform, we're doing that in the city of Boston. We're going to do it before the police make an arrest, before we have a problem, and we're going to be working to try and help people as best we can. So I also want to thank Kate Walsh, President and CEO of BMC, who's here with us today, and her partnership in this effort. They've been doing this work for a long, long time at BMC. And I want to thank her for it, and thank her for allowing us. We're going to hear from Kate after me, but thank her for allowing us to be part of what she does over at BMC too, with her dedicated staff. And thank you, Kate, for what you do. This budget boosts our Vision Zero safety capital program by $1 million, bringing it up to $4 million. We're going to be expanding neighborhood slow streets from 2 to 5 sites. We're going to be advancing our low-stress cycle network across the city from North Station to Dudley Square, and we're going to add capacity for street safety all across our city. And that's on top of already about a $700 million investment that we're making in different parts of the budget on roads and bridges and safety and bike tracks in our city of Boston. So we're going to continue to work to improve the streets and improve all pedestrian, bicycle, and cars' ability to travel around the city. To sum it up, this budget invests in a broader vision of the future and in the details that support the quality of life every day. We've touched every single Bostonian in this budget one way or the other. If somebody says, I don't use city services, or they walk to a renovated park, they do. If they walk on a sidewalk that's replaced, if they walk on a sidewalk that's clean, if they call 911 for an ambulance or a fire department or a police department, they show up at the front door. So we're going to continue to make sure that we make these investments. This budget reflects our voice and our values of the people of Boston. This budget invests in streets, parks, schools. Every single neighborhood in the city has been invested in this budget. This is one that we can be proud of. And again, I want to thank the City Council for their leadership and support in this budget. And I want to make a special thank again to the budget team and for the great work that you guys and ladies do every single day for the City of Boston. So thank you. Now it's my honor to bring up to the microphone Kate Walsh, President and CEO of Boston Medical Center.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh, for your leadership for this important health issue that affects everyone in our community. This partnership between Boston Emergency Services Team, or BEST as we like to call it, and the Boston Police Department is a critical resource for effectively connecting people in need with mental health care. Through the program, trained clinicians ride along with the Boston police officers. When officers are called to a situation where someone's exhibiting signs of mental illness, our clinicians can quickly assess the right course of treatment. This means that a patient could get the help they need on site or be transferred to a healthcare facility rather than being arrested as criminals. We know there's a lot of unmet need, and certainly a major increase in substance use disorders is only compounding that problem. With this new commitment, we'll triple the number of clinicians in this program. That means we'll be able to significantly expand and significantly increase the number of people we can help. It's a win-win situation. It's a better use of police resources, it's the right use of healthcare resources, and it definitely is the right thing for people suffering from mental health conditions. Mayor, thank you again. Thank you to the City Council and your budget team for finding space in this very important budget for the most vulnerable amongst us. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Jerome Smith, Chief of Civic Engagement for the City of Boston.
Thank you, Kate. We all know the impact that the Boston Emergency Services Team program has on our neighborhoods, and it is an honor to be here today with you. I want to thank Mayor Walsh for once again putting together a budget that invests in every neighborhood in the city of Boston. People from all corners of the city, whether you live in West Roxbury all the way to East Boston, will benefit from the quality of services and the high-level support you and the members of the Boston City Council have demonstrated through this budget. It is important to make clear that behind every line item is a person in the neighborhood, and that is benefiting from these services. Take, for example, how there is funding set aside for a full-time hokey to be in every every district public works yard in the city. This investment ensures that our public spaces remain open, welcoming, remain clean and safe, because the people in the city of Boston take pride in their neighborhoods and want to see clean and safe neighborhoods. I see every day with the volume of intake and calls and requests that the city receives through the Office of Neighborhood Services and through Boston 311, which is the city's platform where residents can share non-emergency issues in the neighborhood directly with us. What amazes me about this whole process is that the city and their staff have become more responsive when we provide these new tools for residents to use. And they work hard every day to resolve the resident issues. And the kind of, in the day of technology, when we're doing more and more things online, we're still putting a human face to all these services that we go out. And individuals, and I find as we go around across the city with neighborhood services, a lot of residents know their district yard supervisors and know the individuals who are out there cutting the trees and filling the potholes. And it's kind of that sense of community and connection with the city, I think, that is very valuable. But this budget goes beyond investing in those services. It invests in public education, public safety, health, transportation, housing, arts, and more. It puts an emphasis on connectivity between the neighborhoods and uses data in smart ways to drive these investments. We know that 97% of Bostonians live within a 10-minute walk to their parks, and that the parks drive a sense of community amongst all of our neighbors. This budget invests in a major park renovation, but also, and equally important, it invests in the renovation of existing parks and neighborhood ball fields and to make them safe and playable and equitable for all users. Most importantly, this budget is let the residents of Boston know that the City Hall is actually listening. Through conversations with many people in different neighborhoods, we have heard the need for more yard waste pickups per year. And we are pleased to announce that next year there will be 2 additional yard waste pickups available to all the residents in the city. Although investments like this may seem small in nature, they are valuable quality of life to many residents in our city, and I look forward to continuing the conversation about these investments and investments across all our neighborhoods in the city of Boston. And again, I want to thank Mayor Walsh for the opportunity to serve in his cabinet and be able to take part in trying to address many of the issues that we have here in the city. And with that, I'd like to introduce a great friend and a passionate advocate for the Allston and Brighton neighborhoods in the city of Boston, City Councilor Mark Siomo, Chair of the City Council Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you for those kind words. Let me start off by thanking the mayor for his leadership. This is our 4th budget together, and your leadership and the charge you gave to your team, CFO Dave Sweeney and Budget Director Katie Hammer, actually came out to the council before they even submitted the budget, which is a departure from regular practices, and I think it's a great practice. So we actually had input before the budget was finalized. So I want to thank you guys and your team. Great team. And I think we in the city are very fortunate to have a great team of chiefs and department heads. We have some of the most committed and dedicated workers in the entire country working for us here in the city of Boston. So I want to thank them for their dedication, their commitment, and their knowledge that they bring to every single budget hearing that we have. As a chair of the Committee on Ways and Means, I was honored to lead this process this year with a focus on providing a responsible and sustainable financial blueprint for our city. We had 28 hearings totaling nearly 60 hours of testimony. Over 20 hours of that testimony was dedicated to the Boston Public Schools, which is the largest in the city's history, totaling more than $1 billion. In an era of gridlock and divisiveness at the federal level and financial uncertainty in our state government, the City of Boston's duty to provide a stable fiscal outlook has never been more important. I have always said that the city's budget reflects its priorities. This year's budget showcases Boston's commitment to the students, seniors, and safe streets for families across the city. I want to thank the mayor again, my colleagues on the city council. We have such a great group of people. They all should be returned to office if they have opponents this year, because I think we bring a great diversity of opinions and perspectives to the budget, and it was showcased in this year's process. And I want to thank the members who are here today, Matt O'Malley, and my right-winger, Councilor Asabi George, who sat next to me the entire time. Thank you. I also want to thank the central staff from the City of Boston, who prepares all of our hearings and our materials and are incredible to work with, and my own staff, I have to say. Tim, Tom, Deb, Daniel, Kevin, and Jackie. I want to thank you all, and look forward to the signing. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, get in the shot. Could be able to do this.
lot of pen signing.
Oh, really?
It's great.
Let me just say thank you to everyone again. I want to thank all of the city council, all of the staff here. I want to give a couple shout outs. Probably shouldn't do this. We don't get enough understanding or when I say credit, not looking for credit, but what we're doing on housing in the city of Boston. Sheila Dillon, who leads our housing, we've made a $100 million investment in the last 4 years in housing in the city of Boston. We've stabilized rents by 4%. We've set records for each of the last 3 years of setting records for building affordable low-income housing in the city of Boston. We're going to beat the record of last year this year, so we're going to continue to do that. I want to thank you, Sheila, for your great work. I want to thank Jerome Smith and the young people down in Office Neighborhood Services. They're the coordinators that go around the city of Boston to make sure that we do our job and we help neighborhoods. And I want to thank Jerome for his great work there. I want to give Tommy Chang and Ron Dorsey a shout out on the education side. As I said earlier, we have more level 1 and level 2 schools than any other period in the history of our city. We have a graduation rate the highest in generations, nearly 75%. We're making investments in all our schools. We're doing advanced work class, and we're doing a pilot advanced in I think 13 of our schools that we're doing advanced for all of the grades. And we're seeing results. We're seeing good results here, and we're going to make sure that our young people are prepared for jobs of the future, pathways to college and pathway to a career, whatever they choose. So I want to thank the superintendent for his great work there, and ISD. The ISD often will get a lot of people criticizing ISD for the work they do, but they have the hardest job. They go into the toughest situations to do that work. So I want to thank Commissioner Christopher for his great work. I already mentioned public safety. I want to thank Commissioner Finn. We do have the best trained fire department in the country right here in Boston. People come to us for techniques and for advice on how we do things, so thank you, Commissioner. We have Chief Hooley from EMS, who's working on the overdose situation in our city, and we were able to give him some more resources last year as far as response times, and the Chief has done some incredible things and some ideas this year of putting people, not ambulances showing up necessarily to some of these areas, but having paramedics come out and talk to young people and try and get them into recovery. So I want to thank you for that. And our police department, again, we're on another path this year to have record lows in arrests this year, and we're going to continue to work and make the investments where we need to. So it takes a village to run a city, and it's not all about me, and it's not me, and it's not even the council. It's the people that work for us that really make the city great. So to all the city staff and all the support, thank you for the great work you do on behalf of the people of Boston, and everyone, happy 4th of July.